Last weekend, me and Dave did Japfest, and if we're to be harsh on ourselves, we did And instead of just putting that into one video of drifting, I've decided to make a mega vlog. So in between all the stages of the competition where me and Dave are doing I'm gonna hopefully uplift the video with nice things and interesting things and informative things. And we're gonna start off the video on a positive and giving back to you guys with an accessory bundle. And you're probably wondering right now, what is an accessory bundle? So I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. What do you get in the bag? There will be a poster, which looks like, and if you request it on the order, we will sign the poster for you. There is a banner, lanyard, a variety of different stickers, key tags, air freshener, coasters to stop your table getting those little watering marks, keychains, and a magnet. So in the bag, you're going to be getting a variety of those items, adding up to €100. And because we're so kind, we're giving you 60% off. So that bag is going to cost you €40. And you know what? I'm not even putting in the price of the bag. So not only are you getting €60 worth of accessories for free, you're also getting a free bag, which you can use for, I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys decide. So check it out on the driftgames.life website. I put the website down below and you can get Drift Games accessorized. I'm not sure that sounded right, but that's what I'm gonna go with. Right, with that said and done, let's get into the first part of the Japfest video.
So we're about to head to practice. This is an interesting day because I'm making a lot of changes to the car again. Brendan's been helping me out. The team are getting used to the car. Jack, who has never worked on the car, has definitely been working on it in practice. In practice, we went a couple of different ways. Now we've got an idea in our head of what we want to do. We're going to put a few little changes on it, head out for an hour practice. I'm in the lower half section of the qualifying because I didn't do any rounds last year. I think I did one, and Josh is in the higher. So we actually get to kind of watch each other drive for the first time, which never usually happens. And I'm kind of trying to take this event as a bit of testing. If I go full 100% and smash into people, the car is being loaded in 3 days to Italy. So I have to somehow be good, but also be slightly reserved. Maybe not take the chances I would in Drift Masters here on IDS, but I'm up against the best national series in the world, so I'm definitely going to be running through my paces. So get in the car, feel comfortable in practice, and I'll update you guys as we get to qualifying, because we're still learning.
And in case you guys didn't see on social, I am driving the 14 that we bought from Axel a couple of months back because, well, the low brain car was a long way from being done and it would have been ambitious to get it done, so we decided to put a bit of a halt on that so we could build it right. And let's be honest, that car's no slouch. That car is 700 horsepower, so at least I'm driving a competitive car that could, well, easily win the event. It's only down to if I can win the event now, I think. As you can see, Ruse is back in Ireland, taking the year out from Drift Masters, and he's actually competing in the whole Irish Drift Series now, which is pretty exciting to be in the same championship as him, and hopefully we get some runs and battles together, which would be really cool, I think. As you can see, the sun has made an appearance, which is a pretty rare thing in Ireland, but it means one thing, it's going to be a hell of an event, and Japfest is full of 10,000 plus people. We don't even know how many people are going to be here, so it's going to be incredible. And what I feel is even cooler, that 10 years ago I came over to Ireland filming for the Irish Drift Championship at the time, and seeing 10,000 people and the drivers performing in front of them, so it's really cool to be doing it myself. Definitely not complaining and not taking it for granted. It's an honour, if anything. He said he'd rather take a risk now than in Drift Masters, which I completely agree with. So he's trying different settings to see how the car handles, so he's kind of going from one extreme to the other and finding a middle ground in the middle, I think, for how the car handles best. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick talk through of what's going on with these runs. So as you can see, starts off fine. Then the lead driver misses a gear, meaning the run-up's kind of ruined from this point. There's a massive gap. So as you can see, going for the first corner, Dave catches a little bit of understeer, and as you can see, the wheel is making a few uncharacteristic moves. It almost looks like there's a little bit of a delay, then it's snapping to lock. Now, at the end of the video, we do think we figured out the problem for that. We're gonna have to wait till then to find out. The rest of the run's pretty good, but then again, this is the first lap, so he is still learning the track and the car. Now, second run is much better, but as you can see, going for the first corner, he's on the verge of understeer there. Now, the reason for this is the car's 50-50, so there's such a fine edge of the handling of the car. For example, an S-body would be a lot more forgiving, meaning you can make a little bit of a mistake, but it wouldn't be exaggerated anywhere on the course. But with this, a little mistake could end up in you spinning or understeering off. Okay, so this is probably one of the best runs of practice. The car still isn't handling great, but I think Dave's just learning to drive around the problems. As you can see, the wheel is very snappy. It's kind of doing nothing and then very quickly spinning where he almost has to catch it. It's not flowing as it should be, which obviously makes it a lot trickier to drive, especially whilst chasing a fast car. Now the dreaded last lap. As you can see, everything's going fine, but then the lead car spins. And luckily Dave avoided contact, otherwise that would have been a really bad end to practice.
Right, next up, see what I can do.
Okay, so now on to me. Now I can be a little bit harsher on myself because I'm talking about myself. This is the first lap in the car on stickier tyres than I've ever drove before, and as you can see, I never went on power. Reason being, I had my foot stuck under the accelerator, so I couldn't press down the accelerator. Then after then, I go off and make a bit of knee-jerk myself and try to gather some way of a run after that, but just realistically sprinkle stones all around the track, ruining it for everybody. Okay, so this is probably the fastest car I've ever drove, definitely the fastest I've gone into this corner, but the car handled it really well. Unfortunately, I dropped a wheel there, as you saw a little bit of bump, and then dropped a wheel going into the next corner where you saw the other bump. But overall, not a too bad run, quite fluid, got settled in the car where the back of the car was, and overall I knew the areas where I needed to tidy up. Okay, so as this was my last run, I wanted to get one chase under my belt, just so if I was to qualify, I didn't go into the battles blind. Now, as this was my first chase on this layout in this car, I was a little bit tentative. As you see, going into the second corner, I let it lag up a little bit. But overall on the run, I felt quite comfortable with the car chasing in reasonable proximity. And then as you can see, there is a fire at the end, which was very exciting. So after practice, you can tell I'm a man of my word. We were doing pretty shit. So I'm gonna break up the video with something a little bit secretive, but also, hopefully, a little bit heartwarming. Okay, so our newest member of staff, Craig Lawler, you guys may not know him, but when we had the tragedy of the fire and we had the increase of merchandise sales, we needed somebody to come in to help fulfill those orders. And Craig at that time was only coming in for a couple of weeks just to help us out fulfill all the Never Give Up t-shirt orders. And because he was so good and we liked him so much, we took him on full time. Now I wouldn't compliment him this much to his face, but he is a hell of a worker. He never complains, he's always here after hours, and every time we do a big merchandise drop, he's the one that's fulfilling all those orders, which, let's be honest, sometimes isn't the most fun job. So, to do something nice, we got a message a couple of months back from a company called X-Force Exhaust. I worked with them in the past. I had one of them on my GT86. There's one on Dave's Mustang currently, and they reached out and said, is there anybody in the company that would need an exhaust? So with that in mind, we all thought Craig deserved this exhaust because he's got a cool car, GT86, it looks cool, but it's doesn't sound great. Sorry if I offended any of you standard GT86 owners. I had one myself. It doesn't sound that good. But with the exhaust, it sounds pretty spicy. Now, the tricky part, how do we get this exhaust on his car without him realizing, as a little bit of a surprise, because let's be honest, surprises are always better. Now, he's recently got some tires on the car and his wheels aren't balanced. So that is my opportunity. Take his car, to balance his wheels and put on the exhaust. The only problem is I can't balance wheels, but I don't know, I figured that one out. So yeah, let's hopefully make someone's day. I feel like Oprah right now or something. So it's actually just pulling in now, like I feel it's be suspicious.
Josh, do you have the van keys?
Van keys.
Ah, you can have this one.
So he thinks I'm just doing the wheel balancing, which I don't think I'm going to do because I can't do wheel balancing, but we're actually going to fit in the exhaust, so when he comes back here, it's going to be a nice surprise. God, I miss my GT86. Got a bit of a bad start. So this is Craig's GT86. He's modified it a little bit. He's got lips, wheels, side skirts, but doesn't really sound sporty enough, which is where X-Force is gonna come in. And obviously anytime you do an exhaust, you have to do before and after. Not bad, but not great. Ooh. Always penetrate your balls. Although, I'm not sure what good that last one's gonna do. I may have to cut that one off. At least it's packed well. So this is the full catback exhaust for a GT86. So as you can see, it's got a valve system so that when you don't want to be a yobbo, you can just close the valve and drive around normally, and then they want it to be a bit louder on an open road, you can open it up with the click of a button. I had this exact same system on my GT86, and I will say it was phenomenal. It's very easy to get a loud exhaust, but it's very hard to get a good tone of an exhaust. Right, so first off, let's get the old exhaust off, and lucky for me, he drove it down here, so it's probably going to be hot, which means I'm probably going to burn myself. I'm going to be super careful, and fingers crossed, there is no seized bolts. So I guess now it's just reverse the process with the new one, and luckily, we have new hardware. Okay, don't rush your jobs. As you do stupid stuff like that. Say we start again. X-Force offer a wide range of products for a variety of different cars. I've popped the link down below so you can check out the full range there. Okay, so exhaust all on, and again, a mechanical idiot like myself, no bother. I mean, I did have all the right tools and a ramp at my disposal, but still, back box, straight through, smaller mid, and we still have all the legal stuff in there. Now, next up, we still have the electrical part to put in, so pretty much really simple. There's the motor bit on the top of the exhaust, which I plug it in, run it all the way through the car into a cigarette lighter, which there's one in the glove box so I can hide it away. And then it comes with a nice little key fob with two settings, on and off, or A and B. Not sure which way that goes, but we shall find out soon. So it may seem a bit intimidating doing the electrics for the exhaust, but honestly, it couldn't be simpler. I routed mine through a bung in the boot and ran the cables through the trim. There's actually a cigarette lighter in the glove box that powers the exhaust valve. And final step. I'll let him deal with that mess. But I think we're ready to start it. Definitely sounds a little bit beefier. Okay, let's just see if these are working. Oh yeah, they're working. And now, open. That is so much better, he's definitely gonna notice. Okay, he should be back soon. And I realized I said I was going to balance his wheels, and I've been reading the booklet for a while. We have the balancer, but I've never used it before. I have never seen an instruction manual, that many warnings in there. So, I don't know, I think I'd be happy enough with the exhaust, and I'll let Wayne do the wheel balancing because the manual is not giving me much faith. And if I do get it wrong, there's a lot of warnings saying bad things will happen.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I think he should be back any second. Just so you know, there's not a massive change when it's closed, so he may not notice straight away.
Well, how'd you get on?
Done your wheel, lad.
You done my wheels? Come on, right here.
Balance. What?
What's that?
What? Oh.
I'm not quite sure that's how wheel balancing works, Josh.
I feel I've completely ruined this.
Is there anything on the car?
I wasn't expecting. Oh man, that was a surprise.
Jesus, what's going on here?
Well, you know how your car sounds like a bit like a wuss.
Yeah.
What?
That's sporty looking.
Look how sporty that is. Well, the cat's out the bag. Let's go for a drive. Let's hear this thing.
Oh! Sounds a bit different now. Sounds fast. Still not fast.
I was gonna say I didn't do much of the performance.
There's a bit of a difference there now, in fairness.
Go on, give it a good flip. Do you like it?
I'm delighted.
Well, there you go, buddy. We said you've done a lot of hard work recently and you deserve a little bit of a present. And
Thanks, lad.
That was your present.
Unreal. Who's gonna do the balance?
Wayne to do the balancing.
Say I'm not grateful or anything.
Have that out of the way. Back to the Japfest video. Okay, so practice for me, ups and downs, okay lead, okay chase, not many laps. Dave on the other hand was trying a different setup. How's your day going?
I've had a rough morning. We changed too many things on the car. We got into our heads. So we went back to where we were Friday. So I think it should be better. We have a little bit of a fuel pressure problem, so we're running low boost, but it's still enough to spin the tires. And I wouldn't say it was confidence building, the practice. So I'm going to hope that qualifying is the bit that gives me the confidence. So we're kind of spinning the wheel here.
Still trying to find the confidence.
If you guys have it at home, or if you can find it down the back of your couch, if we can have some of that confidence, that would be ideal. So hopefully this qualifying run starts to build me back up again.
A Suprajet 2JC, 990 brake horsepower, only weighs 1100 kgs, and Dave Egan is ready to send it here in the DBM.
Oh!
But just getting it all wrong.
Yeah, big understeer there for Dave,
They've done a
unfortunately.
lot of work trying to adjust the settings on this car to try and get it driving the way Dave wants it.
So you guys just saw, I got my entry timing right. I went for a big entry. I went to go on the power, I was on the right line, and the car just had no power. It just wouldn't spin the wheels. So now we're hearing a bit of a misfire in the car. It could be a fuel pump problem, but like it just had no go, so I understeered straight out of the corner. So main man Lloyd is here. Plug into the Link ECU, see if we can figure it out.
Josh looking to make it past the top 16 for the first time and into a top 8. If he can get it qualifying sorted here, first drops a wheel there as he goes deep into outer zone 3, tries to get it together once again here as he fills that outer zone. And outer zone 4 now as he throws it onto the wall in front of the grandstand. Josh Holsworth coming for a big run here. Probably one of the most well-handling cars Josh has ever driven.
Let's
So first one, not great, not bad. Missed some clips, got some clips, and I would say average at best. But it was an 82, so the score on the board. So fingers crossed, second run is better. So I don't know, I'm probably a bit in the danger zone now with that. So hopefully I can get a bit better, get a bit higher up, or actually just qualify at all.
Alright, so I got an honest confession to make. First run, I couldn't understand why it cut power on entry, so I ended up, we went checking the boost, we went checking the fuel pipes, we went checking everything. So it turns out there's a button on my dash, right? You'll see it here, which says ALS, which is anti-lag. And Lloyd set that up, the car doesn't have anti-lag, but it makes more pops, bangs and flames. So I thought for qualifying, I'll turn this on to see if it's more showy for the qualifying scores. However, that is only for show mode, so basically for making pops and bangs and flames when you get a result or whatever. And Lloyd said it's not for driving because it retards all the timing. So when I went into the first corner, I went on throttle, the car didn't go on boost because of that reason. So a stupid mistake, and one I'm glad to make in the first half of qualifying in IDS rather than Italy in 2 weeks. So I'm a dumbass, and I should have asked Lloyd and never press buttons for the first time on your first qualifying run. So now we've only got one run to do. I'm on a 0, the nerves are high. It's been a morning, so hopefully we can pull a lap together and get ourselves in the show and put all that bad luck behind us.
So here we go, David Egan back on the line. Fuel cut problems on his first run, causing the car just to shut off. That was the issue. No such problems this time around, but does grab a little bit of understeer again, as all our drivers are battling with this, Mike. But David Egan, look how fast this car is. Dabs the front brake there just to try and set the car. Speed at which it comes down onto the wall. Dave Egan running for it this time around. All to do here on this second run. Guys, as he crossed the line, this man has faced more adversity than anybody I've ever met. 0 on the first run. We made the score an 80.7 for David Egan, getting it done when it counts. Josh Holsworth 81.7 on his first attempt in the RB powered Drift Games S14. Josh responsible for some of the most incredible videography images that we have seen of this sport in Ireland and of course across the continent of Europe. And right now his focus is solely on his driving, and he's doing a pretty good job of that as well, Mike, as he crosses the line with another really strong looking run. 83, so 81 and 83, nice consistencies there from Josh Holsworth. Could we see him break into the top 8 for the first time in his career as he waves to the ground? Guys, give it up for Drift Games, Josh Holsworth.
So with Dave qualifying in 28th place and myself in 23rd, it's safe to say it wasn't the strongest qualifying session for ourselves.
So while we were qualifying, the crowd is building to see Conor Falvey's car for Drift Masters. We've obviously seen it, but nobody else has seen it. And now we're running up to show everybody what it looks like, and it is probably the coolest drift car I've seen in a very long time. So look at this crowd. Hello everyone. Hey! Right, okay, so this is the man that will be flying the flag a lot harder than I will for Team Drift Games this year, because he's half my age and twice my talent, and I'll admit that. But if you guys watched on last year, you'll have seen Conor go from relative obscurity to be 2024 Drift Masters Rookie of the Year, bringing it back to Ireland. So a round of applause, Conor. But Conor being Conor, he left most of the car in Europe. Bits of it in every single country. So when we got to the end of the year, Conor and his dad Tomas and Dean M Sport and everybody got together and said, right, well, if he's going to be a proper pro this year and go for the championship, he's got to look like a proper pro, and we also have to look like a proper team. So the two cars, the Supra and the S15, definitely didn't look like they did each other before, but now they do. And this is a one-of-one body kit on this car, which should not be given to Conor Falvey to smash into things, but that is what we're doing. So who's excited to see the finished car? 3, 2, 1, gonna get some more noise. 3, 2, 1, make some noise! Alright, Conor, do the honors. For Conor Falvey's S15 for Drift Masters this year. Conor now running 900 plus horsepower, full carbon
Quit if it looks like that by the end.
Don't take bets. Please don't take bets.
Conor rocking the blue, I'm rocking the yellow. Conor, I suppose there's lots of lovely people here, so maybe thank them all for coming out, and obviously, what do you think of the car?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Oh, sorry. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here to see the reveal of the car, and also there's a couple of people I'd like to thank for making this possible. Of course, Drift Games sponsoring us, and Gary Dunn fit the whole kit for us, Jay stickered it, and obviously my dad putting everything we have into the car, and Dean Sport building it. I'm over the moon with how it turned out, and I can't wait to take the battle in Europe, and hopefully it stays going and looks this good at the end of the year. But thanks everyone.
And as I said, an important point is take all the photos you can of this car right now, because this is the last time you'll ever see it in one piece. So this car is going to have a hard season, 7 rounds of Europe, where we're going this year with the full rig, with the full team. So anybody supporting us and looking on in the videos and stuff, we really appreciate it. And I see so many of you guys in Drift Games gear, and you guys are keeping our dream alive by supporting us. So if you can pick up something merch, pick up something in the shop, it all goes back into this really stupid dream we have. There's definitely nothing in our pockets left after this, but it's all about trying to get to Europe, trying to do some good stuff, and most importantly, Drift Games is not always about being the best, it's about trying your best and having a good adventure and a smile on the face, and that's what we're going to try and do this year, even though it's going to be stressful at times. So thank you guys, we appreciate you coming out, take some snaps of the car, and we will see you guys down the road in Europe for the rest of the season. Thanks guys.
Okay, so at this point in the video, we're doing mediocre. Not bad, but not great. We both qualified with okay-ish runs, but at the end of the day, they're only okay-ish because the grid is so stacked. There was over 50 drivers there, all really good, pro drivers and pro cars, so at the end of the day, qualifying is quite the accomplishment. But let me tell you, what isn't mediocre is our rig going to Drift Masters. So there's been a lot of comments on our Drift Masters content asking about the logistical side. What it takes to do a Drift Masters season. How much stuff do you have to take? What's packed in the truck? Now as you can see, this is a big truck. You would think for a drift event that this would be easily enough to fit everything in. But let me tell you, and I'm going to show you how this fills up pretty damn quick. Okay, so everyone's full steam ahead, cleaning and packing the truck because this leaves on Saturday and at the moment we're on Tuesday, so it's quite a big process to get everything so organised to know exactly what you've got in the truck, and it's neat and tidy because it's travelling a long way. It's quite the clean home.
Mobile 1 lube degreaser. Also takes tyre marks off the side of a race truck. There you go.
There you go. So with the truck completely empty, you can fit 3 cars on the top deck and 2 on the bottom, along with stuff in the gooseneck. But in this truck, there is only going to be James Dean's and the R33 that we're going to take to put on display. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but there is a hell of a lot to go in still. Craig.
We're just cleaning. I don't know what you're thinking about.
So at this point you may be a little bit confused. You may be thinking, why is there only 2 cars going in this truck? And why are the 2 cars not Conor or Dave's? And that is because there is a second truck, which Conor Falvey, Conor's dad, drives. And that's mostly living accommodation, and it also has a bit of storage in the back for 2 cars and a few spares. So yes, that is right. We're having 2 full Arctic lorries on the road going to Drift Masters, which does seem a bit ridiculous, but our team is a little bit different to everybody else's, because if you're watching our Drift Masters videos from last year, you will know it's not just the cars that are brought, it's also our merchandise shop. So for our merch shop, we use SP toolboxes, which is getting a little messy now, but we use four of these to pretty much put all of our merchandise in them and sell from for a countertop. You may also be thinking that's quite excessive to be using very good toolboxes for this, but we found in the past our shop is going in and out of trucks and traveling all around Europe, and pretty much it needs to be super hard wearing. Anything that's not, and we've had wooden countertops in the past and everything like that, they just get destroyed after a year, so we've kind of buy once and buy right, and to be fair to them, they're still holding up perfectly. Alongside everything else, we like to display all of our partners that have helped us run a Driftmasters program, such as Strom Wheels. They've been a massive supporter of us from the start, and I would say one of the big reasons to where we are today. Moving on, we have the Tough Tiles that Craig is ever perfecting the perfect packing regime. Tough Tiles also been with us from the start, and if you remember the first time we did up this garage, we put Tough Tiles down, and let's be honest, we turned something that looked not very nice into what we thought was a perfect garage. And as you can see, they do a variety of different colours which you can make up into different patterns. You can make fake parking spaces, and honestly these things transform a space like your garage. Alongside that, we have a link stand where we have all the linkies used dotted around. I think they're in boxes there. I know this looks a little bit messy, but this has all been in storage, so it's kind of just separated and spaced out just so we can load it the best way possible. And also alongside all this, low-grade car is still halfway being built, so there's a lot going on in here. Unfortunately, the pit truck will not be going for the first stint of Driftmaster, and that is because there is actually no hot pit for the first 3 rounds, so it's kind of not really needed. So we're going to use the extra space to pack everything a little bit neater to save things being squished and broken and everything like that. But because the pit truck's not going, we were able to up our tool game. Now the guys have been down here for the past few days, pretty much taking from every single toolkit that we have to make one monster kit. So literally, as you can see, everything is fully there, bar that, annoyingly. Here, and this is the real test, guys. Is there any 10 mils missing? Nope, nope, nope. Nope. There you go, all the 10 mils are intact, and in below is our spares package. Now we don't have too many spares going for the Supra, but we have got the important ones, which are the Wise Fab, which we have front and back, along with some tie rod ends and stuff like that, because let's be honest, they're the things that break the most. Engine wise, we have a few sensors, belts, coils, spark plugs, and on top you can see we have rags, spill kits, axle stands, oil fillers, oil drainers, and we're bringing a compressor this time, so we have airlines for tyres and blowers and stuff like that. And also between Conor and Dave, they have a spare diff, gearbox, and engine, because they're running both a 2JZ, so they both have the same spares package, so fingers crossed they don't break the same things at the same time. So as you can see, there is a hell of an amount of stuff that's going to be going on the truck. That's not even taking into account the wheels and tyres that are going to be used, which roughly for each car there is about 20 wheels, and that's mostly because the fitment for the Supra is different to Conor's S15, because obviously the Supra is BMW fitment, because let's be honest, it's a BMW. So that on top of all that and the cars is what makes up pretty much the inside of our Driftmasters rig. So as you can tell, this ain't no small operation going to a local track. This is what it takes to do the European Championship. It's a lot of dedication, it's a lot of money. To be at the top of the game in any sport, never alone motorsport, it does cost a lot of money. You do have to pay to play. But thankfully with the support of our sponsors, that is the reason we're able to do it. And not only that, we've been in this game a long time, and our aim is to grow the sport to be as big as possible. And that's exactly why we're doing Europe. We spent a lot of years doing the media for the championship and commentary and everything like that. But lucky enough now, it's time for Drift Games to have its time in the championship. Okay, so the guys are going to be packing the truck over the next few days, making sure that is all good for the first round of Drift Masters in Italy. But before I leave the yard, we never updated you on Adam's pickup truck. Now, last time you saw this was before Dubshed, and let's be honest, I think it pretty much came together in the last few days, really, didn't it?
The truck left at 10 AM and I literally finished it. I was here at 5. I finished at 9:10 that morning, so about 50 minutes before the truck left. Up on the ramp, the back suspension was apart, the engine wasn't finished. I didn't have the carbon dashboard at that point. I didn't have the seats or seat belts from retrim. I didn't have the entire interior part. I didn't have the headliner in it. I didn't have a lot of stuff in it. And that was Wednesday. That was Wednesday and we left on Friday morning.
Okay, so let's take a look at it. Now everything is put together. There's only one thing that's the exhaust that's not done, but apart from that, everything is fully done, correct?
Pretty much, because when we put the old exhaust back in,
surprisingly
where the BC was, it actually would have fit perfect because it went over the, but I need to go mega over the axle around the BC and somehow looped to the back. So DRT are coming in and doing that, and the Audi will be finishing that hopefully when we're away for Italy.
So let's give us a quick talk through here in case you didn't see the last episode. I mean, this was on leaf springs.
It was on a leaf spring. It came on 5. I took out everyone except for one, so it literally do the bare minimum. The diff was already hitting the bed, so I was like, I'll raise the bed. And then when we're doing the raised suspension, Ryan Morton might as well, in Vital Fabrication, might as well go a bit mad. And then it turned out to be this, and then he kept adding arms, and then I had to take the fuel cell or the fuel tank out of it. So then I needed a fuel cell, which then I needed a fuel pump and a fuel filter. And
I was going to say, that's a lesson. Change one thing on the car. You ain't changing one thing. This is probably the most engineered Datsun pickup truck out there at the moment.
Pretty much, fairly close to it, yeah, because there is one in Japan and there's other ones I've taken inspiration from, and to get this idea to even do this. But it's definitely very much one of its kind.
All just so you can get a tucked wheel.
Actually going much lower because it's still actually on the chassis. There's still like a couple I can get my fingers in there. The only thing that's actually stopping it is that's the top of the tire. So there's more to do.
that ain't stopping there. Moving forwards onto the interior now. If you've seen Adam's previous MX-5, you know that not one bit is untouched, and as you can see, there is just going with a gold theme here. There's literally gold bolts wherever you look, and even a part on the passenger seat.
I got a Paulius and TH Pons powder coated the under tray sparkly gold. So when you see it, you probably see it for about a couple of mil underneath the engine, but you will actually see gold. And then got the seats retrimmed by Carl Conlon. Got a little nod to the MX-5 because I had the purple seatbelts, which I actually never wore the purple seatbelts. I literally drove around the yard the once, and then it obviously passed away. So a little nod to that. Got fully.
I was going to add it.
Carbon skinned dash. Unreal.
For what reason? Other than it looks good.
Other than it looks good. Have my etched mirrors. Because I actually have the reason for that is because I have that there. Just simply because.
And then moving on to the engine bay, where again there's ideas for engine swap in this truck.
It's all I wanted. It's all I just wanted to like same as the MX-5, a simple, clean engine bay. Everything kind of tucked as much as possible. What more can you want?
There's not one bit of this car that isn't touched, from the front to the engine, inside and the back. A credit to you, Adam. Not fully done, I'm sure there's little tinkering bits that you need to do, but it's come a long way since you got it.
A long way since I got it, and a long way in the last like 4 weeks, because I probably actually Ryan started in January, and then obviously the lead up to Dubshed it went hectic and went crazy, but it's here. I'll close it. Look at it.
Just look at it. I saw Adam in the shed for the previous nights before Dubshed, and the stress levels would have said it wasn't worth it. But is it worth it now?
Yeah, if you spoke to me on the Monday before the event, I absolutely not a hope, because I was getting up at about 5, here at the shed for 6, do 3 hours on it, go to the office, work the normal job, like obviously running the events and doing all the stuff, then leave the shed or leave the office about 5:30, come here to work till about 1 or 2 in the morning, go home for about 3 or 4 hours, and then start again for about 2 weeks.
Living that life. It's a dedication. It's not fun at times, it's horrible at times, but at the end of it, hard work does pay off. Well done. You know what? Sorry, actually. Okay, so moving on to the last part of the video. The battles, the main part of the event. Drifting is a fairly brutal sport. There's not many sports where you can make one tiny mistake and it can put you out of competition. Usually in road racing or anything like that, you can make a mistake and you can claw it back after all the laps, but drifting's so short. The run is only about 30 to 40 seconds long, so you make one tiny mistake and that can be you going home. You can make excuses for reasons why it happened, but at the end of the day, you're the driver, and unless the car breaks down, you made the mistake. And now you're going to see how the rest of the event unfolded for me and Dave.
So second run wasn't great. I got in the show just about. We realised that I was driving, let's say at very like 60-70% on Friday. When I came here today, I'm now driving 100%. I had the wrong gear ratio in the car, so when I initiated into the first corner, it was just hitting the limiter and I didn't really have anything to play with. So 2 rookie mistakes, 2 learning experiences, which is I guess what this event is all about for me. 1, don't press the anti-lag button because it makes the car terrible, and it's not anti-lag. And second was gear ratio is very important. So both of those things should be rectified now. The only downside is my first battle up is Kevin Quinn, who is an ex-Drift Masters driver and probably one of the best in Ireland. So Without very clean runs in practice, I now go up against one of the best in Ireland, and I'm going to have to go 110%, while also trying to protect the car because it has to be loaded in 3 days. So figure that one out. We're going to give it a good go. Josh out-qualified me, so technically Josh should be going to Drift Masters, isn't that right? You going to Drift Masters? Actually,
I drove very merry as well. We've not had the best day.
And sometimes it happens like that. Of course, we're both testing things, changing things, so having issues, and that's what round ones are all about. And as a good positive take from this is, if the two things that happened to me here happened in Italy, you're a long way from home to make those mistakes. Here, we're 5 minutes from the HQ. You can make those mistakes and learn from them. So hopefully the car is good, and we give Kevin a good run.
Off the line there in the Drift Game Suprajet. Kevin Quinn powers up. But look at this. Dave Egan right behind him, side by side. Here we go. Mondello Park makes some noise.
I can't see Dave Egan's car. It's in the middle of the smoke. Wow, it jumps out of the smoke. Look at this from Dave Egan. Massive dive. Can he control the Supra? He's a little bit all over the place, but he's right there with Kevin Quinn. Now he has to find the door once again. Huge angle from Egan. Hits the wall. Quinn puts foot to the floor. JZ's. Oh, contact once again. What a run.
They go side by side down the straight. Kevin Quinn spinning wheels, fishtailing already. He's coming for it. He's for the door of the Supra of Dave Egan. Perfect lead line so far from Dave Egan as Kevin Quinn now jumps onto the door but loses some ground as well. Drops a wheel and almost flips the Suprajet. Oh my God, Mondello Park.
Oh my God.
And just when it was all going so right for Dave Egan, it all falls apart as he falls off track. Can announce a winner and going through to the top 16. Give it up for Kevin Quinn.
Going up against good friend Lee McFaden and pretty nervous. Gets it cool all weekend. Not taking it too seriously. But it's battles now. And a big crowd now. All you can do is try your best.
Josh now starts to bring himself into this one and finds some proximity, cuts through the smoke, shadows up the line to try and get on the door of Lee McFaden, but McFaden has the foot to the floor. So here we go, Josh to lead them in the Drift Games S14, Lee McFaden in the MTN Fireplace S13, they fired in, both with RB power underneath the bonnets of these very different S chassis. Josh, not the perfect lead line here, not making it easy for Lee in the chase position. They both throw it onto the wall in unison. Wheel to wheel now, McFaden hard on the front brake. They cross the line. Mondello Park, give it up for two titans. Give it up for Josh Holsworth and Lee McFaden. And I can announce that going through to the top 16 is neither of them, because they're going to go one more time, get some fresh tyres on, get back into the pits and get back up to that start line. We're going to see that.
Pretty much we both made mistakes, and it's one more time. It should be one more time. Nobody wants to win by mistakes. You want a good battle, so I let it lag up. That's what I did. So this time I just need to be a little bit rougher on the car, just get it through this battle, just to make sure I'm on the clutch, building the revs, and not letting the thing bog. Let's get a second time round now, so yeah, come on, let's get into top 16.
Back as you were, one more time battle between Lee McFaden and Josh Holsworth. Who's going to find that spot in the top 16? As
big dive for Josh.
Appears through the clouds, making a big dive, almost straightens as he comes around by Mobile 1. And now needs to finish the side, shows big pace and big angle at us, and he dives onto the door of Lee McFaden. Both guys fall to the full throttle across the line. He's going to just go as ham and as hard as he can. So here we go. Holsworth and McFaden. And again, McFaden just appears. Oh, but Josh gets it wrong. Just gets it wrong, and the transition goes a little bit too hard. Drops a couple of wheels off. And unfortunately, Mike, it looks as though it's all she wrote for Josh Holsworth. But give it up for Lee McFaden. A very worthy top 16 for him.
So what happened then? In the end, the best man won. And on that occasion, the best man was not me. So we bow out of competition at this stage, which kind of sucks, but wasn't really on it all weekend. It was kind of just a I don't know, never got into the groove of it, so yeah, a little bit gutted. Obviously it's competition, you want to keep on going, but at the end of the day, not my car, first time I drove this car. Great car. I've just got spoiled with V8s recently, and this has a little bit of turbo lag I'm not used to, and it caught me out. We gripped the car up a little bit too much, I think, and yeah, that's what happens in drifting. At least my team's around to make me feel better. Just talking to a camera, it seems. And that is pretty much a wrap for this video. But before I leave you, I am going to give myself and Dave one racing driver excuse. So first off with Dave, Lloyd Patterson, who does all of our mapping and dyno sessions and everything, he plugged into the car and he saw the alternator spiking electricity, so it was going up and down and everything. And on that car we run electric power steering. So we actually run 2 pumps on that car, so the alternator is kind of needing a lot more ampage to be able to deal with it, and it is a standard alternator. So we're thinking maybe it needs a better race alternator on there, maybe one of the DC ones that guys in Driftmaster and Formula Drift run. They're almost double the ampage as the one that's on the car, so that could be an easy fix. That's probably why the steering wheel was almost stopping, then moving really fast, because it was probably not getting the correct electricity needed to run it fluidly. That's our theory anyways. Now for mine. I'm not going to use this as a complete excuse, because it was driver error, letting the car lag up and not keeping the revs up. But Axel, who we bought the car off, did say if you're gripping the car up, you should be running the car on setting 11. Now we were on setting 8 or 9, I think, so there's probably an extra 50, 60, 70 horsepower, and he said most of all it produces a lot more torque on setting 11. I don't know why we didn't actually put it up there, especially when I said when we dropped the tire pressure to around 20 it was a lot harder to spin. We should have just put the power up then, but it wasn't in my mind. I've never had a car with that dial or anything. Again, not as dramatic as Dave's, but it's just kind of a lesson to keep in mind for next time. So with that out of the way, I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and drop us a comment below to say anything that you guys think we could have improved on or done differently, because let's be honest, in this video there was quite a bit. So for now, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Hope you have enjoyed the mega vlog, as we're calling it. Let us know what you think about that. Should we split up and flesh out the videos more, or should we put more into the videos like we did on this one? We're still kind of umming and ahhing about what's best for the algorithm of YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So let us know in the comments below what you guys prefer, because obviously these videos are for you guys. But for now, I've already said love you and leave you. So thank you for watching. Bye.